I get this question asked all the time. Yasheika, how do you balance it all? Being a mom, wife, a nurse, a realtor, a life coach, a content creator. How do you keep up with all these different hats, these different roles? And my question to you is, do you believe life is a balance or do you prioritize? Let me know in the comments. And when we get back, I'll tell you my thoughts. Hey, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to me here, my name is Yasheika Turner. And on this channel, we talk about thriving as immigrants here in Canada. So if you want to be a part of that thriving community, go ahead and hit the subscription button right now. And while you're at it, hit the notification bell also so you won't miss my next video to come. Now, my take on this is I don't balance. What I do is prioritize. I can never say that word because I'm a Jamaican accent. I prioritize. I should have my son right now to pronounce it for me. But as a woman who does it all and wears so many different hats and so many different roles, I find trying to balance will affect your mental health. And what I mean by that is when you try to do everything, so say you're on a seesaw, you're trying to balance, you're trying to do everything to keep that balance. You're running here, running there, just to keep that balance. But as for me, I prioritize. So yes, I'm a full-time registered nurse. I've been a nurse for the past 18 going on to 19 years, and my specialty is mental health. Now, being a mental health nurse has positively impacted my way of life, way of being, and way of doing. Why? Because I tend to prioritize, be proactive of my mental health. What I mean by being proactive is being aware of my mental health, being aware of the things that negatively impacts my mental health, being aware of the things that drains me, and being aware of the things that refuels me. So that's number one. When you're aware and alert of your body, you become more intentional, right? So that's number one. Having mental health helps me to be proactive in prioritizing. Now, as you know, being a nurse, I'm passionate about helping people, which also being a realtor is somewhat sort of, leveraging myself in a different area and also providing service and helping others. So whether that might look like helping others with their mental health, no, I'm helping others to achieve their home ownership goals. And also as a life coach, you might see something, similar in all of those roles that I fit in, the many hats that I wear, because being a life coach, I help others with achieving their life goals. So that's what I do. So if you have some big goals, some big dreams, you're confused, not sure where to start, I'll advise for you to go and book a session with me. It's on my website and I'll put it in the pinned comments. Now, how do I prioritize it all? How do I do it all on top of being a wife 24/7, on top of being a mom 24/7, and being a content creator here on YouTube to also help you to thrive in your journey of this thing called life? With all of this, I will say while prioritizing, it's also being productive. And having a YouTube channel, they always say, have a hobby that brings you money, that brings you joy and happiness, and that brings you closer to God. Now, being a full-time nurse, part-time realtor, part-time YouTuber, YouTube is my hobby where I give back and what gives me that fulfillment and joy, feeling fulfilled because I'm walking in my purpose. Purpose ignites my passion. And that's why I take the time out to unwind, to do all these research and to provide you with information because that refuels me knowing that I'm giving back and I'm helping someone else where I was at one point of my life and I'm giving back to you. So now, when I talk about prioritizing, when you might say balance it all, I look at how I maintain to be productive in my life wearing all these hats. So this comes down to my routine, what a day in my life would look like, and the many things that I have to do. Now, as we're transitioning into a new year, 2024, we're wrapping up 2023, which I just did a video on how you can make your 2023 more successful as we're closing out. You can go and check that video out after watching this one. But what I like to do, rather than looking at the year in the full 12 months, I like to use the 12-week year. Have you heard of that book? 12-year week, 12-week year. I don't remember, but I'll link it right here. Now, I use that book to guide me and to help me to be more productive. What I mean by that is by setting quarterly goals instead of annual goals. Now, when you set quarterly goals, then you're not feeling stressed at the end of the year, not achieving those goals, but rather you can have a set amount of things that you want to focus on to be productive. And then, you accomplish those. If not, you put them over to the next quarter and you celebrate yourself. So that's one of the things that I use to be productive, to help me to balance, prioritize, and function in my life. So say, for example, we're coming up into a new quarter, 2024. What I'll do, I will take the time out to look at that first 3 months in the year. What are the things that I need to accomplish throughout that year? Who do I have to be within that time of the year? And you write down all the things that I have to do, want to do, and need to do. Based on that, now I would prioritize. You have to create the life that you want. And while creating this life that you want, you work accordingly to your goals. Now, when I look at my life, I realize that I do not intend to work as a nurse until I retire. Full time, that is. So I wanted more flexibility and freedom with my life to do more of the things that I like to do, like this, coming on YouTube and creating videos like this. So when I assessed my life, I knew that. So I started looking at other professions, other things that I can do. And that's when I went and I got my real estate license to add as another income stream. So rather than spending my time on the unit doing overtime shifts or having, doing those things, I try to find something else that will not drain me mentally. I know that being a nurse, working overtime shift will negatively impact my mental health and will drain me. So I went ahead and found another profession, which is another stream of income that I can do in my own timing, working from home, making my own schedule. So that's why I do real estate. So with real estate, I choose the type of clients that I want. I choose when I want to work. I don't work with every and anybody. So real estate is part-time. By the way, if you're interested in buying, selling, or renting in the Hamilton, Ontario area, I can help you with that. So that's what I do part-time. So real estate is usually after work hours. So that is my 5 to 9 job. And weekends, except Saturdays. I'm a Sabbath keeper. I am a Seventh-day Adventist, Jesus girl. So on Saturdays is my day to relax, refuel, rest, worship day, right? So that's all my days will look like, Monday to Fridays. And also, I'm a content creator. So I'm a YouTuber, right? So I have 1, 2, 3. Plus, I do life coaching. Life coaching. YouTuber and life coach is my work. I feel that is my assignment from God, and that is how I use my spiritual gifts to help others and to shine light into others using my gift of empowerment, encouragement, and faith, right? To glorify God. So that's how I give back. Right. So those two are not mentally draining, not mentally taxing on my body. I do it as a form of fulfillment. Now, as you would say, okay, so Yasheika, what does a week in your life look like? So a week. Number one, I don't go to bed late. So with all these things that I have going on, my latest time that I go to bed is around 11 o'clock. So usually I'm in bed by 10, by 10. In bed by 10. In the mornings, I usually get up at around between 6:30 to 7 o'clock. Get up, look after the kids, breakfast, get myself ready for work, usually have my smoothie. Now, that is the next important thing, having breakfast. So most mornings, I usually do smoothie. First thing, I do make my coffee, and I sit here in this chair, have my devotion, spend a little time with God, doing my devotion, having my coffee. Then I get the kids ready, started off to school. Usually starts work at around 8, 8:30. Now, if I don't have enough time to do my devotion, because sometimes, you try to sneak in that little time away, that little quiet time, but my son has a tendency to get up. As soon as I get up, make my way downstairs, he's right behind me, pee pee clock clock. So if I don't get that time to sit quietly and do my devotion, then I usually do it in my car. On arrival to work, I just, set the intention for the day, set the tone. Sometimes I might listen to a YouTube video, which is usually motivational, driving to work, or sometimes I will tune into my favorite radio channel, which is usually playing gospel music, to lift my spirit, whatever mood. Sometimes you wake up and you're not really in a good mood, your mental health is really not the best. So you need something to fuel you, to set the tone for the day, right? So start off work, usually working 8:30 to 4:30. Now during my break time, that's when I usually do my content creation stuff. So lunchtime break time is around like 45 minutes. So usually sometimes I schedule a post, an Instagram post, while I'm sitting in my car before I go into work. Then I will go along and start working on my YouTube videos. Now, I usually post minimum of once weekly, and I usually batch create my videos. So I usually do 4 videos at one go. So usually a day throughout the daytime, like throughout my lunch period, then I'll be researching different topics, writing my scripts, and getting my videos prepared for recording on the weekend or the following week. So that's how my Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 4:30 looks like. No, you have to flip the switch now. Driving in from work, I usually don't communicate with people. I usually have that time where I flip the switch, like it's reverse mode, getting your mind off work and into family life. So usually I need that quiet time to focus, talk to myself, having my structure, like what am I going to do, going home to do, and stuff like that. So you start off resetting the mind and reshifting to, okay, work is done, now it's family time, home time, what I have to do. Usually, once I come in, I know exactly if I'm going to cook that day or if I have overnight food. Usually, I cook like maybe 3 to 4 times per week. We have a bad habit, or family, myself and my family don't like overnight food, so I don't batch create. What I do is I prepare the food ahead of time. So grocery store days are usually Sundays, most times Sundays, or sometimes while I'm driving in from work, I'll stop at the grocery store. I usually buy meat in bulk. We mostly eat chicken and fish, so we usually buy those in bulk. I usually visit the meat market, and I buy enough chicken. So I'll buy different parts of the chicken, breast, wing, quarters, whatever it is. And usually one day of the week, when I stop and get the chicken, I usually dedicate that time to clean up and season up and package and put in the freezer, which makes it easier for like managing the home, home maintenance lifestyle sort of thing, being a mom. So usually the night before or the morning of, I know if I'm going to cook, yes or no. And usually I take out, so say I have the chicken seasoned up in the freezer, I usually take it out and put it up in the fridge, for it to defrost. The time I get home, most meals during the week are usually less than an hour. Dinner is ready in less than an hour. So that saves time. Then the next thing now, once I get all that out of the way, dinner out of the way, the kids' time, I have my little me time. Then if I have to edit videos, or then if I have any clients, any real estate clients, then that's when between around 6 or 7 to 9, those 2 hours, usually I'll work on business, side business, whether that's real estate or YouTube videos. Now, after I do all that, On Saturdays, as I said, it's usually a chill day. No, from Friday evening, my Sabbath starts from Friday evening. So from Friday evening, I know that it's winding down time. No, I'm not the type of 7 Day Adventist girl who's going to cook this whole heap of food Saturday evening and prepare for Sabbath day. No. By the time I come home from work, it's usually 5 o'clock, which means if it's like during this time, winter time, the sun already set. So when I'm going to take out that time to be cooking, it's already Sabbath. So usually I prepare something light on Saturdays for dinner, for lunch, or whatever it is, because that's my chill day. Not a day to be working, cooking, but chill day from Friday evening. Saturdays, I usually go to church physically. If I'm not at church physically, then I'm tuned in to the TV watching an online service. Now comes Sunday now is my reset day because I'm fully rested, fully refueled from Saturday. So Sundays are started out on a high mode. Sunday is the washing, the laundry, the grocery, the cooking, the cleaning. I go hard on Sundays. And usually, or my family each, they have their own different assignment, their own different roles. So my husband helps out, my daughter helps out. So each one of us, we know our role. So that helps and collaborating with each member of the family and knowing, having an expectation of each person's assignment, each person's expectation, and all that stuff. So that's how I manage to maintain. Now, when it comes on to self-care and mental health, as I said, I know I'm fully aware of my mental health. I know what refuels me and I know what drains me. Self-care is important, but don't get this twisted with self-care being the bubble bath and the candlelight and all that. No, self-care goes beyond there. Self-care, knowing your limit. Self-care, knowing your boundaries, you setting boundaries and you setting for others who don't know their boundaries. So if I know that I cannot handle something, so say somebody call and ask me to do something, I know I cannot manage it. I'm not going to say, yes, I can. I'm going to say, let me check and I'll get back to you. If when I check, I know that that day is a full day when I have work, I have to stop at the grocery store, I have to come home, I have to cook, and my day is fully packed, I'm going to say no. And this girl is not afraid to tell you no. I'm not afraid to tell you no. I'm going to say, no, I'm sorry, I cannot do this for you. How about another day? Or how about another time? Or no, period. And you have to understand that no is a full sentence. It's not, you don't have to explain yourself actually. It's a no, I can't. You can't. So when it comes on to my boundaries and my kids know when it's time, I tell them 9 o'clock is a cutoff time. So you disturb me at your own risk because at that time I'm fully maxed out of my energy, fully maxed out of my patience and my tolerance, right? At that time, I'm getting wind down for bed, getting wind down. I usually don't answer my phone after 9. So my friends and my family know it must be an emergency for you to be calling me after 9 o'clock. Because after 9 o'clock, it's my time, me time, Yasheika time to refuel and to get unwind for bedtime. Usually bedtime will look like now. So say after 9 o'clock, the phone is down. Usually I might be just scrolling on you and TikTok or just scrolling, just to have a little fun time. And then I would have a cup of tea. I usually take my shower coming in from work, then having my cozy comfort time. Sometimes I'll watch a movie with my husband. Sometimes I'll just like, be by myself in my one of the quarters. You have the man cage, you have my girl cage. So wherever my girl cage might be, in one somewhere in my bed, somewhere. Sometimes I might read, sometimes I might listen to YouTube, listening to one of those prayers. You have a lot of motivational prayer channels on YouTube. I might listen to that to help to fall asleep. So there's different ways. It's all about prioritizing. Now when I go back to prioritizing, I would say, okay, what are the things I need to do within this week? This might be working on my business. It might be being involved in an activity for my child. It might be doing something for me. So it's all about prioritizing and looking at that list of things that you have to do. What are the things you have to do now, and what are the things that can wait? Now, I must tell you that doing all these things might not be easy, might be challenging for others, but I know what I can tolerate, and I know when I need to stop, when I need to take a break. When it comes on to social media, a lot of people get burnt out with social media because, it's a business for some, and it's for some, it's their only source of income stream. Now, I've leveraged myself enough that I don't have to rely on one source of income. I don't have to rely. So, say for example, I'm starting a business, stepping into entrepreneurship for a better future. No, I didn't say, okay, I'm going to stop working as a nurse and I'm just going to start real estate, start YouTube. No, it's a transition. And you have to wait until you have enough income coming in for you to say, okay, you're going to stop this and start that. Because you know what? That will trigger you mentally. That will cause anxiety. That will cause overwhelm. That will cause you to be burnt out, pushing yourself too much because you didn't position yourself enough or you didn't plan enough. So having a plan is important. Knowing your why you do things is important. So in my life right now, it's not about balancing, but it's about prioritizing. Yes, sometimes I forget stuff. Sometimes I miss stuff. And my kids know, I tell them, keep reminding mommy because mommy has a lot of things on her mind. So if there is a deadline for something coming up, remind me, and we communicate like that as a family, right? Because sometimes things get missed, things get forgotten, things get lost. So you have to give yourself some grace, and you have to collaborate with your family and make life be a unit and not just you're by yourself, but rather than thriving together as a family unit. How do you cope? How do you prioritize? How do you balance? Did I make sense in this video? Let me know in the comments which would be your takeaway. And thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video. Bye for now.